And these are some of the activities that are being fully funded by, partly the resources we have got. But I think much as this money was given, Parliament of Uganda needs to take a fair decision.
What would be your suggestion for a better, acceptable to all?
First of all, we know what has been going on. For all the years that the NRM has been in power, there have been, and I want to say this very frankly, there are so many activities that the NRM has been implementing, and they cannot trace the sources of, they cannot explain where they get the resources from. And there is a belief by every Ugandan that the movement, being a ruling party, is pushing its arm into the pot of this country and using what is meant for the taxpayers. All right? Now, and the dilemma we are faced with is that a party that is using money meant for the population of this country is still given so much money and leaving other parties that do not have any opportunity. And I think if we are to be fair, the movement, FDC, DP, and any other political party in this country should be treated fairly and equally and given the resources so that they are able to effectively implement the activities. Otherwise, we would be pretending. Because what is the meaning of giving, the movement so much money and giving a party like DP, FDC, UPC, and so on, that little money? And that
it's because you toyed with that problem until you had no formula which is known. But we know that from a hybrid kind of experience from the West, actually party funding from the public coffers can also be based on the strength of the parties in parliament. And that's what was utilized.
You see, Charles, we come from a very unique background. Let us look at our history as a country. Let us look at how the movement has been running the affairs of this country. And so we cannot be placed at par with the rest of the world. We cannot we cannot follow exactly the systems in other parts of the country. I think in all ways of fairness, we should be able to say that the funding, much as has been given to parties, I don't think that is even enough to make the parties effectively execute.
Let's hold it there. Let me run quickly, come nearer home here to Mr. Okidi. You are a youth. And if I have followed you rightly, you aspire to one day lead the DP if you can. But the issue is here that the chairman is talking about. He runs across issues of party funding and is as well as talking about issues of, a fair representation or even justice. In DP, your party, we know that one of those rules that you have for a person to actually get to the top is that someone must have served, I think, on the council for 10 years. As a young person, do you think, starting off with you, that is fair to begin with?
Thank you very much, Charles. I will respond immediately on that. One thing is that the idea or the rationale to have that timeline perspective in order to qualify to become a member or to be eligible to run for president of the Democratic Party is so that there is some element of discipline, because you must show consistency in the party. The party is trying to avoid a situation where anyone just comes into the party today and begins to run. You know the kind of political environment we operate in. NRM normally is very much interested in internal processes of a particular political party. So therefore, they are capable of picking someone in NRM, entering DP, funding him, and then competing those who have been consistent with the party. So I think that is some internal mechanism that the Democratic Party puts in place in order to make members be disciplined, to whip them, and also to get the best out of their participation in the party. And of course, we are going in the next delegates conference.
and you look like an eagle, you look at the overview of everything and can give us an objective view. There is the issue of the whipping system, which is talking about the discipline, and then there is the issue of the party financing that Mapinduzi talked about. Let me start with you on the issue of the whipping. Do you think that the current whipping system within the parties, within DP, within NRM, we know that instructions. Do you think that whipping system is adequate enough in this country to address party dynamics? Saying that there should not be any problem with a person taking so many years, endless, within a party, but that at a national level, there is this clamoring of some people saying that, you know, we need term limit and all that. What exactly are you saying?
My concern, it is on regards to what he's saying, that for you to qualify, that they have already set a standard.
Yes.
That if you have not stayed in a party, for instance, for 10 years,
yes,
then you cannot contest for the highest
office. Yes.
I am saying, if itself, that one provides a barrier for capable people who can be able to contest and keep the party. Now, if you are saying the political party constitution to respect, then of course that is what I'm saying. From the right perspective, then we are denying able people who could contribute tremendously to the development of the political.
But parties are also about loyalty, because it's about your love, your passion for that party. And therefore, why would you have a problem, you know, generally speaking, with that regulation? Because that regulation, my assumption, is that that regulation is meant to have tested your loyalty, your passion to the, and also getting ideologically grounded on the, you know, the ideology of the party.
Charles, the argument that I was trying to put forward is that we need to trace back how most of these constitutions are formulated. If constitutions of any organization are formulated by people who initiated those parties, then of course the constitution sometimes have a leaning towards the interest of the people who initiated. And I believe some of those restrictions in itself, if we are to dig deeper, we may find that there were very few people who debated the nitty-gritties of those constitutions, and therefore they are brought on just to pass, and they actually passed it through probably the national, the delegate conference and all this. Now, we may even now give an example. We all know what happened in 1966 when the late Milton Obote stormed the parliament with a new constitution.
The pigeonhole constitution.
And the entire parliament was surrounded by army. And the members of parliament who were there by that time, they did not debate that constitution. Their role was just to pass the constitution. And none of them were aware of the content of the constitution. And now, if it is already passed into law, what implication does it have on the members and on the entire country as a whole?
Thank you so much, panelists. On that note, I'm going to, like I told you from the beginning, this debate is about the people. It is about the audience, you in the audience that is seated right here, you who is out there watching this program. It's a packed house, it's a packed hall, it's actually in right here in Gulu. I know that the audience is already, itching to contribute. They have been tickled enough by the panelists here, and Sheila is embedded in the audience. I want to now take it to her so that she can get comments and questions from the audience. Sheila.
Thank you very much. Of course, this is a very timely topic, and if you just joined us, we're in Acholi here in Gulu district, so we're discussing internal democracy. Of course, everyone here has been following, you too have been following, but in case you just joined us, you can be part of this conversation on Facebook and at NTV Uganda and Facebook NTV Uganda, the Situation Room UG, or at the Seat Room UG, and follow the hashtag TSRU. Now to my audience here, please keep your questions very short. You want...
There is a Nelson who is on line. Who is Nelson?
Yes, thank you, everybody. My name is Thomas. I'm the coordinator at Northern Yellow Youth Brigade. I would like that NRM is the most democratic party in terms of its policy, in terms of its ideology, in terms of how they do their things. I think it is the most...
Which things? You have to tell us, because we want to know the most democratic party. That is a comparative word. Most democratic to which one and which things? We want to know.
All right, thank you very much. Your name, please.
Thank you so much. The Situation Room Uganda. I'm LK Bernard. I work with Gulu FM. I want to respond to our madam. You said NRM has the democracy. But why does NRM has this division within the party? And right now, as we all know very well, NRM has gone so viral where we have different youths. We have the poor youths. NRM has been in power for 30 years. Why do we still have the poor youths who are campaigning President Museveni? And then why do we have Mbabazi out of NRM right now, the campaigning, the structure that was laid by him throughout the whole years, 30 years ago? Thank you so much.
Thank you. We shall be as gender balanced as possible.
Also make sure the youth are also represented, because this program is also about them. So don't leave the youth.
Thank you very much. I'm called Lucy Achiro. I would love to ask our madam who belongs to the NRM party. I personally, 100% I say NRM party, they don't have democracy within themselves. The reason as why I'm saying this, because if you have democracy, you should give free room for people to compete favorably. But the way they're treating Babazi right now, because in Uganda, I've always been saying that in Uganda we have freedom of speech, but we don't have freedom after speech. And that is why the way they're treating Babazi shows that there is no democracy. Because if somebody gives out his views that he's going to contest against President Museveni, why should they treat the person like that if there is democracy? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Let me have this gentleman here.
I thank you. Madam, I welcome you into the political world. And I think that is an interesting one because you're not going for a cheap one.
What is your name?
Anthony Akol is my name. Madam, you give what you have. But I must tell you, democracy starts from the mind. When we hear the words of the president on the issue of Amama Baba's standing, I don't know what you're talking about. If you're saying that democracy is at a lower level, but at the top it is still, then we need to know. I have one shot, but if I don't have any shot, that means if he wants a shot, I cannot give him. But what we are saying now in Uganda, the situation is hot to a level that even the NRM members who are in the room here, each one is fearing each other. Where does he belong? Is he a Mama Babazi or President Museveni? I mean, what is democracy? Because it's not about mentioning the word. But when we are talking about democracy, it should be practiced. When you have to define democracy, the words are people, everything, people, people, people. But where are the people? You are talking about sole candidates. Sending the report, pinning down Amama Babazi because he wants to stand. Then finally, he was then sent away from the government. Now, the most difficult thing that you need to answer. Your Secretary General is saying, Amama Babazi has not registered, is not NRM. It is like the Pope saying, Bishop Odama is not in Catholic. I don't know that. It doesn't make sense at all.
Anthony.
So you have to
Anthony,
elaborate more. It's not a matter of saying there is internal democracy in NRM. Elaborate. What is democracy taking place now in NRM? That we can
Thank you, Anthony. Irene will answer. What is democracy?
Thank you so much. Now with us is a very senior citizen, eminent leader, and a gentleman that is behind the brain, one of the brains behind the TDA, the Democratic Alliance, Bishop Ochele.
Thank you very much, moderator and dear participants. I think let us be transparent and honest to ourselves as Uganda. There is no democracy whatsoever in Uganda yet. That is a fact.
Bishop, why do you say there is no democracy?
I'm telling you.
You are going to tell us?
Yes.
Okay.
Obote came, he remained president.
Bishop, 1 second. Because one of the tenets of democracy is also free speech, which we are exercising here. I just wanted you to keep that in mind.
That is not democracy. That is not democracy.
Okay, proceed.
If I tell you to talk and you go home, I beat you, that is not democracy. What I'm saying, Obote came, he died the president of UPC. Amin came, declared himself like president. Museveni has now come, pakalas. Where is the democracy? Amama Babazi was the prime minister of Uganda. He failed to manage the affairs of this country. When he was the prime minister of Uganda and money was stolen from his office, he did not resign. The government did not fire him. But when Amama, as an individual citizen of Uganda, born in the image of God, with all the freedom and the blessing, wanted to become the president of Uganda, he was fired. Is that democracy? He was chased away from his position as Secretary General of the party. Is that democracy? Where is the freedom that every citizen of Uganda, born in the image of Uganda, should enjoy in this country? That is what you people who are sitting here, you are not being honest to yourself. You look at your party as domination to other people. Party, you must be free. Everybody must be free when we are hunting. You know we are hunters. When we are going to hunt, you don't tie my leg so that I don't run after the edible rat. All of us must run. If I am faster than you, I will get it. If the edible rat comes back and you beat it, we shall share it in the pot. I want to end by saying, when we go for for international competition. Uganda was represented by Akibwa, who was a Lango, the son of somebody there, but a Lango. But now, when he won America, Europe, everybody, Uganda was #1. That is what we call democracy. Thank you.
Thank you so much, retired Bishop.
Thank you, Bishop. I've concentrated a lot in front here. I'm going to move just behind a bit. I'll definitely come back to you. And you are watching us. I'll be crossing over to social media. So please post all those questions and comments.
Thank you, moderator. Francis Okello Doc is my name. I'm one of the aspirants for Youth MP North and an NRA member. We are aware that the greatest bedrock of NRM as a party is socio-political, democratic, and pan-Africanism. And I want us to be objective if we are discussing about issue of internal democracy. To what extent of the party has NRM achieved its objective? We are aware that any organization or any government cannot go uncriticized. I want to say that the issue of NRM as a party, NRM is guided by its constitutions, which is very clearly stipulated. And if a person of Mbabazi does not follow such a constitution, then definitely the party will come up with this standpoint. The second thing I want also to say that we are aware that in northern Uganda...
Francis, just a second. We don't leave that point. What does the constitution of the NRM specifically says about election of the top person to represent it as its flag bearer? We want to understand that for the sake of those who are watching us.
Well, I wouldn't want to go so much in the issues of constitution, but I want to emphasize that the constitution of NRM is very clear on issues of democracy. And we are aware that the party has always come with a position that it is not yet time to begin campaign. I want to, as I conclude, I want to say that moderator, you are aware that in northern Uganda, the people of Acholi, as Acholi, we have for a long time objected NRM. We have been in opposition. But right now, there is one thing that people are saying. Because NRM, to some extent, as northern Uganda, there is peace in northern Uganda. We are seeing, yes, we are seeing constructions, infrastructure improving. Thank you. Thank you, moderator.
Let's have order.
Moderator, I beg for your protection.
We agreed from the beginning.
I beg for your protection.
Francis, you're protected.
I want to pose a question to all of us.
Hands down, all hands down. Francis, you are on the floor and you are protected. Please proceed.
I want to pose a question right now that unless we stand up as electorates and begin to answer the questions that are always posed as northerners, the question of what is our agenda, what do we need, we shall be responsible for taking a blame which is supposed to be taken by those who wait too long. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Francis.
Thank you. I just need to caution all of us. We all came from far and wide. We all would want to take part. So if you have a microphone, please be mindful of others who would like to speak.
Let's be tolerant. Remember tolerance in this debate, because at the end of the day, all of you are going to participate. All we need are your views, and let's stick to the topic. The topic is internal democratic practices within Uganda's political parties and their implications on the country's pursuit for democratic governance. To what extent does that practice within the... By the way, don't only limit this discussion to the NRM. We have so many parties, 6 of them in parliament. You know them. I don't have to go into them. Okay. But for avoidance of doubt, there is Conservative Party, there is DP, there is JEMA, there is NRM, of course, there is FDC, there is UPC. All those are in parliament as we talk. So if NRM is curtailing the right of, like you have said, some of you, of Honorable Mbabazi from running, which I know they have not. What is going on, as far as I know, is that there is a discussion. You never know, he might win the discussion. You never know, the other group might win. But is there proper democracy within FDC? The one-man rule, can someone talk about that? Because recently, you all know that after some time, FDC people have also decided that Besigye should come back. Is that democracy? You people know it better. What about UPC? We have been reading in the papers, UPC, that Honorable Akena ran to Uganda House and decided to announce himself against Otuno. Is that democracy? We have to ask all those questions. Sheila, let's have another question or comment.
Thank you.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Mine is comment. I would like to...
Your name?
My name is Konsi Nyapolo. I would like to call on our attention that we are really building a foundation. I hope we know why we are here. Some might be excited because of maybe promotions or whatever achievements you have got in your various parties. But I think as young people, including even the old ones, we are here to build Uganda for the better future. I must stand to confess that there is nothing like democracy in all these parties existing in Uganda. Why do I say so? If these parties are characterized by opinions of sectarianism, of nepotism, of commercialization, of technical know-who, how do you say there is internal party democracy? Like me, Nyapolo, I have gone through many experiences, which I'm not going to bring them out practically. But the truth of the matter, there is no democracy in all these parties because it is characterized by technical know-who. They will first ask, who is this woman? Who is the husband? Who are the parents? All these questions which are unconstitutional, which may not be in line with your capability to contest for whatever particular position. Another thing, if just
10
1
seconds,
minute.
you're left with 10 seconds.
If we take these parties to be family, like family members, when you have a newborn child, even of 1 day or 1 week, are you going to give that child less love because he's still 1 month old? Because many people would say, but this one has just come. For us, we have been here many years, so we are the one to occupy ABC positions. If we are family members, whoever joined whatever party, we should accord him or her the same love, the same support, the same guidance. But one thing we lack here, unless God will give us a heart to serve the people, there will never be democracy. Because what people are pursuing, they are pursuing powers, they are pursuing fame, they are pursuing positions, but never to serve the people. Let nobody ever deceive anybody, unless God bring a change in Uganda.
Sheila, let's move to the next person.
Thank you very much. I would also like to tickle your mind on political party funding because that was also discussed by the panelists. So don't just look at internal democracy only.
Thank you. I'm Kerubino Uma, Chairman of the Democratic Party. Maybe the only hope we people in Uganda can build on is the Democratic Party. It has ever been consistently carrying out its obligation as a political party by peaceful change of leadership. From the time of Mugwanya, Benedict Kiwanuka, you move to Semogerere, you go to Kizito Savannah, and now to Norbert Mao. We have ever not been fighting any battle over leadership at all. It is so regrettable that we cannot be given that opportunity because of the autocratic, behavior of the party in power, which does not give position to our people to exercise political freedom in the way it should. We are not monolithic as a political party. We treat people of this country on equal basis. If you look at our National Executive Committee, it is represented all over the country without tribal, religious, or any other sectarian behavior. I'm extremely happy that if we people in the country could take this party seriously, the matter of all other political parties, by the way, others are novices who are trying to learn leadership in the country.
Thank you very much. I would like to find out what happened to Subi, because didn't Subi come from DP?
Yeah. Subi, yeah.
I want to...
Your name, sir?
Obol Justin Simpleman is my name. A DP member, the spokesperson for La Road Division. I want to look at fundings of parties. If we want this country to go a step ahead in democracy, then there should be equal funding of all the parties, actually the active parties in politics. The active ones, we know them.
How would you know them? How would you know them if they're not in parliament?
Their visibility, they have been there.
How do you determine the
looking at the angle to, at which...
Justice, just
yes.
a minute. I am asking that for the benefit of those who are watching us and those in this hall. Where does visibility start from? As far as many of us know, that as long as a party has been legally registered, it is a party that is visible, because you can access their documents if you go to Electoral Commission. Now, we have 29 political parties as we talk now, but only 6 of them are represented in parliament, with some of them only having 1 member. So, in your view, should visibility start from the law?
Just from the point you mentioned, there are 6 visible parties, you know, in parliament. But have they been treated fairly? Because I want to categorically put it clear here that when a presidential candidate is traversing the whole country, they share the equal amount of transport. It is equal. So when you give a party less and a party more, how fair are you? Yet you want all the presidential candidates to be voted the whole country. Yet one is lacking transport. How will that be fair? Then too, I want to talk on the party intrigues that have been actually invented by the ruling party. When you look at democracy, internal democracy in the different parties, the oppositions that we have, there are people who are trying to defend themselves here. They are sent to cause confusion in other parties. They come today and they want to be presidents of the different parties. Where is the humility? To be a good leader, you're supposed to be patient. That is one thing I noticed. That is spoiling politics in the country.
Before you hand over the microphone to Sheila, can you expound on that? Who has left their party to go and stand in another party?
On 23rd, we shall have a delegate conference for Democratic Party. You're well aware Lukwago left the party. By constitution, is out of the race. But now, the government is again trying to find him to come in. That is one example I want to put clear.
I am sure you are not sure about
evidence.
that.
We have evidence.
I'm sure you are not sure about that, but thank you so much for your contribution.
I hope I'm protected.
Can I take, Sheila, can I take just one lady here? This lady here, in front here, in 30 seconds, she has raised her hand for the last, since we started. Very quickly, your name and tell us your comment or question.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Sir, my name is Christine Atimanga Opeyo. I'm an aspirant in Gulu municipality as MP. I belong to the mighty NRM party, the only party with 4 colors.
And you are in yellow, very
proudly. And I'm in yellow and blue. Those are my party colors. I want to give a comment on the financial funding. Funding to political parties. I think what the government is doing, the ruling party, which is in power, tagging the amount of money to be received by each political party on the number of MPs in parliament is very important. Because if you begin dishing out money to any political party which is registered, we are going to have so many briefcase parties in Uganda, because they'll be looking only for the financial gains.
Thank you so much, Christine.
Just the second one, just internal democracy. You know, I belong to NRM, yes. So some issue came up. I want to give a comment on the internal democracy. We have only one party president at the moment. That's President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, and he is the party chairman. The Shankwazi resolution, where the issue of Mama Babazi is coming, I want to make this clarification. This issue came up when Honorable Mama Babazi was still a Secretary General of the NRM party. He himself also appended the signature there. I want to make this clarification. Up to now, the president or the president of the party and the chairman of the party in the name of President Yoweri Museveni have not come out openly to say I've accepted that. When that happened, he sent the MPs back to their constituencies. He said, you have done this, but go back to the people who have elected you. Do they share the same views? I want to end by posing this question. We are talking about the president being the sole candidate. He has not yet accepted. Supposing we wake up tomorrow and the president tells us that Ugandans, thank you so much, but I decline your
offer.
Request.
Thank you so much, Christine. Back to Sheila.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I know that this is a very, very emotional and heated topic. I'm going to be coming
Ladies
back
and
to
gentlemen,
the
hold it. The debate is still continuing. This is just the preamble. We are coming back to you. Down with your hands. We shall definitely come back to you.
We're coming back to the audience. Back to you, Charles.
Thank you very much, Sheila, for that first round of the question and answer and comment. Let me come back to the guests here, the panelists. Let me start with my sister, Irene, very quickly, in few seconds, because we now need to go for a break. The issue of that Christine raises is a very important one. That you are actually getting excited for nothing because President Museveni, the chairman of the party, has not yet declared his intention. And therefore, we have to wait until then. Is that the position that you also support?
Thank you. First of all, that I would like the audience to appreciate that we have our national spokesperson, and to comment about that, what I know for me as an NRM member is we have our party constitution, and at the moment I know very well that NRM still hold to that one party constitution which is not yet divided. There is no amendment which says so and so is coming in. Two, I would like to request that we should not deviate so much from the topic of discussing personality. We are here to look at the internal democracy of political parties in Uganda. You will appreciate that all these issues you are raising is cutting across DP, FDC. All this drama is happening in every party. I think let's be realistic enough. So this issue of attacking the government, remember, there is a saying that two cocks cannot crow in the same compound. One crows, the other might have to what? So it's like the behind monkey laughing at the tail of the front one. If, supposing FDC take over power, maybe, God forbid, or DP, they are going to do the same practice. Yes. Let's be realistic. This piece of attacking personality is not going to take us anywhere. Let's look at what I know, really. Uganda is still maturing. All the political parties are not practicing democracy. I think you agree with me. Yes, please. And remember, in the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, Article 73 prohibits a one-party what? A one-party in Uganda. That's why we have many parties. There is freedom of speech. You can come and form your party. Even tomorrow, you can come out and form a party. Thank you.
Thank you, Irene. Quickly, Chairman, in FDC, we know that the issue of NRM has been raised a lot, and then, of course, Mzee Kerubino talking about DP and praising it. Within FDC, there is this debate that has come up following the return, to contest this week by Kizza Besigye. Is that good enough for you sitting here with us in this hall? Is that, in your view, satisfactory? And can you say that is democracy at play within your party?
Thank you very much. I wish you could give me just a few seconds to touch very briefly what my sister said. I have interacted with so many people who believe in the movement. And when I hear her speak, what she tells me and what I pick from, the different stories she's telling is not different. I think it's the same way those who believe in the movement want to create an impression. And I want to be very clear, because if we truly believe in honesty, and if we love this country, we should not begin sugarcoating situation. I want to give a few examples. A few weeks ago, when Mama Mbabazi decided to announce his candidature, a number of young people in Gulu were arrested. Why? Because they were said to be in support of Amama's candidature. And just about a week ago, about 100 or so of people who believe in the movement.
Audits follow finances. So if the parties do not have finances really, what is the essence of an audit? So I am trying to say this because political parties in Uganda have a very big challenge in terms of financing. The financing has been mainly by the goodwill of other political parties. For example, when I was running for parliament in Agaga in 2011, I entirely took the cost of the Democratic Party, including even offices and all that kind of thing. So at the end of it all, even if you say the Democratic Party has not yet provided audit reports, but it is really understandable. So now that government has come on board to support political parties in terms of finances, that is now the point where we should be talking about such audits. And I think also, because this involves public funds, I think at some point also the Public Accounts Committee has to be involved in process, because external requirements, how external requirements shape internal processes is also important, because this is a two-tier democracy we are talking about, where the state regulates and also the party internally regulates. At the end of it all, there must be a confluence in terms of the concept of democracy we talk about.
Thank you so much. We are going to take a break, and when we come back, I'll still push you on that point. We need to still touch on the issue, because the money we are talking about is money that is given. DP has 15 members in parliament, and so it benefits under the Political Parties and Organizations Act. It benefits, except to a lesser extent in terms of the volume of money, less than FDC. Let's go for that break, and when we come back, the debate will continue. This is the Situation Room, Uganda.
News Updates is brought to you by Salolin. Color your world.
myself, what a wonderful world. Ooh, yeah. We share together. We share the moment, we share the love, we share. we share the smiles, we share the pleasures, we share it all with you, government. We share together, we share, yes we share.
We always share things with people we love. Now with Airtel, you can share your internet too. Dial *175 *5 hash. Select Tugabane and share your internet with up to 5 people.
We share, we share, we share, we share together.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Look at all the juices that are in there, and that is what I'm looking for. My goodness, look at that.
Gentlemen, Jesus came to set you free and to be free indeed.
In life, you don't wait. Yeah. There are certain times where you wait for certain decisions, but when it comes to taking action and choices, you have to move.
Jesus Christ found me, and he actually asked me a question, whether I wanted to live or to die.
Every day of my life was struggling. It's just that God has given me this kind of hope.
GXP every Sunday only on NTV, your official inspiration station.
You don't have to look any further. Get online and you'll get any property.
It's all about joinery. How best do you give a tree a very good second life?
Because there's already development happening around.
Say, for example, carpets, thick, luxurious carpet, and you say, I've got to have a carpet wall-to-wall in my house, but we're a hot country.
Welcome to the Property Show, where we make real estate sense.
How would your daily routine change if you suddenly couldn't walk or see with perfect vision?
Very many people collecting around you, beginning to laugh, make all sorts of comments. So that one really affected my childhood while I was growing.
Like my Facebook is full.
Raise the praise. Get inspiration. Rise up every morning with a song of praise to the Lord. A day in your courts is better than 1,000 elsewhere. Soul Moment, every Monday to Friday at 6 a.m.
We transact every day, and for centuries, currencies have changed hands. Business is a must, and that is why Money Matters makes it a must to talk business.
It's the biggest market out in Uganda because of East African connections and business.
From farming to business trading, we give you all the angles.
When you're harvesting, that one is the most important part, which we have to be there.
We'll bring you all the details that doing business has to offer.
Thoughts of the business leaders in the market.
The airline industry doesn't operate like any other industry. where you go in and buy a shirt, and this shirt is 20 shillings today, and it will be 20 shillings tomorrow, 20 shillings.
The analysis of the costs and the income in the industries. From wherever we are, we talk business, and at Money Matters, where money indeed matters. Business is a must.
So, don't miss talking business with us every Thursday only on MTV.
Suraj, please help me out. Babu was accusing you of some necklace that has gone missing from the house.
Sandhya, what you intend to do and what you don't, I don't have the patience and the strength to understand that anymore.
All these allegations were leveled against me. Then, how can I feel happy today? My reputation was maligned by everyone.
I firmly believe that she's a liar. She's not innocent.
Leave her hand right now!
I will not.
I will make their life miserable if anyone tries to touch or see my sister. Got it?
I will not listen to you. No way.
Oh no! What should I do now?
Made for each other every Monday to Friday, 6:30 p.m.
Welcome back. You're watching the Situation Room debate series happening here in Acholi in Gulu district. A very heated debate. Off the break, it has been a rather interactive audience here. Now, of course, I promise that I'll be coming to you, our home audience, which is taking part on Twitter and Facebook. And I would like to just read one comment from Twitter. Odong Huram. Someone asks, what are the implications of party constitutions on citizens and the party members? And the other is asking, let me just get that. When is democracy? If Amama Mbabas is allowed to contest against Museveni, is that democracy? How about to the opposition? Of course, now I'll switch back to the audience here. Everyone really wants to speak, but it is unfortunate that we cannot have everyone speaking, but we'll do our best. As you might have noticed, there's no UPC there, and we know the drama that has been going on in UPC. We have someone who claims he's a UPC member.
Thank you very much, Sheila and Charles. Alex Odong Okoya is my name, from the Congress Party, where the father of the nation came from, the true father of the nation, Apollo Milton Obote. I want to applaud my sister Oyua for saying the NRM is a mighty party. It is true. They are mighty to an extent that they can move with coffin on the street, flock coffins, and escorted by police. It is really true, you are confirming they are mighty, that they cannot even respect the spirit of the dead, and they can bury a living person. The issue of financing the political party, I want also to agree with the Electoral Commission and say you reap where you have shown. It is an indication to our party and any other party to struggle so hard in this forthcoming election and ensure that we have a sizable number in parliament so that we can reap from the national cake. Conflict. Charles, you talked about conflict, internal conflicts in the political parties. Nobody should ever deceive himself seated here that there's no conflict in any party. Let me start with the Forum for Democratic Change. After Besigye announced himself out, why is he still salivating in the kitchen? In DP, Mzee Kerubino mentioned, it's still fresh in our mind. Mao stepped out, didn't mention he's not coming back. From nowhere, he made a U-turn, going back, and he picked a nomination form to contest. The only consistent party, for Christ's sake, is Uganda People Congress. Remember, some of you are talking of the wrangle in the Uganda People Congress. You don't know what is in the constitution of UPC. Article 13 of the UPC Constitution stipulates clearly that, one, you must get a third of all the district to qualify to become a candidate of the Uganda People Congress presidency, of which Jimmy Akena alone that made to that requirement. The second one, the same article states clearly that the delegates has power to intervene delegate conference, but you are watching from out because you don't know what is in our party and you are the people trying to mess our party. Now we are talking constitutional issues. If NRM constitution says a mama should not come out because it is only the neck or sec has power, why can't a mama respect it? We are respecting our constitution and you are the people trying to mess the UPC. We are okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We have a lecturer, Professor Leander Kumakech. I don't know if I got that title right. Your name, please. Not yet, Professor.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sheila and Chair. I rise to join the community of Northern Uganda to share some of the fundamental ideas that can give a way forward for actualizing what we call a concrete democratization process that is premised within the framework of a constitution and various political parties' constitution that all of you can choose to be free members of all these parties. But fundamentally there are issues. We need to flash back as a precondition of accepting internal democracies in various parties. And one, the concept of democracy is all about rule by the people. And that is where it starts from. And when you look at the Universal Declaration of Human Rights of 1948, after World War II, it is very clear in Article 50 that civil and political rights are fundamentally important in creating the enabling environment to be sure that what we are talking about today can be what we generally can say a democratic Uganda. But just to conclude is that in Uganda, that realization is still a dream since independence, because the challenges we have gone through from 1961 to date in state formation has not created opportunities for political parties to exercise their freedom to run this country. The movement government was in power for over 25 years. We could have used that opportunity to create that environment. The British were here for 70 years. They never allowed this. So I think where we are now is about understanding our challenges in democratization and beginning to chart a new way by, one, amending the current electoral law, which we believe the Parliament of Uganda should really bear with us, that for Uganda to have a genuine democratization process, it is hinged on the basis of amending the current law. And if it is not amended, we are wasting time in terms of democratization process in this country. This is my contribution. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any ladies in Gulu? I can't see any ladies.
Thank you so much, Madam Sheila and members of the Situation Room. You see, sometimes as a young woman of this country, and I see the way we debate what carries the future of this nation, I almost shed tears. We take it so much a joke, the future of this country. You want to defend what is clearly seen. All political parties, to me, as a young woman of this nation, do not have democracy. Why do we stand to think, I am a member of a political party. I'm a member of the Democratic Party, that I read their ideology and believed in it. But I cannot stand and defend and say we have absolute democracy. That is wrong, as people of this country. Has the NRM government, if somebody is a member and the constitution, the mother constitution of this country stipulates the person to be able to stand for any position, be elected and elected for, why stop the person and bring all allegations at a time like this? In UPC, we saw how they did their elections. Now, as young people and as people of this country, is this the kind of democracy we are yearning for and proud of? Let us look at this realistically, members, and the people of this nation. Every home has a problem. The way I manage my home or my children as a Moin cannot be the same way Abe does hers. That brings me to a point of having the years someone can take in a political party to be a legible member to be elected, just as Democratic Party. If today I join Democratic Party and then tomorrow I fail, we have so many members in history. Today comes in because want opportunity. Failing to get the opportunity for any other reasons, tomorrow runs the other side. Now, we need to discipline our members. We need to take seriously what we call democracy in this country, that most people I don't think understand the meaning of this democracy. Focusing on the NRM, you have the big blow of it, because minus the democracy that also us other political parties do have, you're making it with stupidity. Carrying coffins. This is absurd for the nation. So if we are talking about internal democracy in political parties, let's all go back and sweep our houses. Let's stop pointing fingers. The one in front there that you've already shaded yourself with the colors of in democracy in your political parties. Give Ugandans a break. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me take one question. One question from Twitter. Kenneth Nwamanya says, what criteria is followed when funding different political parties? Honorable, your turn, please.
Thank you. Aol Betty Chan, woman member of parliament, Gulu district. One thing is that at the beginning of this parliament, the 9th parliament, even at the end of the 8th parliament, we had iPod. And iPod, I think the intention is to help build up parties. All these parties have problems just because we have not prioritized building up these parties. In countries where they have at least reasonable level of democracy, they also take time. They also put allocation for building up parties. Look at Ghana. We went to look at Ghana. Ghana is doing well because they also allocate some funding to the parties which actually meet all the criteria of being registered. If you register a party, it has to go through some criteria, and it has to meet the criteria. We had iPod, but NRM wanted to take the leadership of iPod without following the right procedure to taking iPod, because iPod was meant to help build the parties in parliament. Again, in parliament, we advocated very much for party funding. This party funding is not supposed to just be on this proportional representation of members in parliament. This is wrong, because these parties are supposed to have offices. If, for example, if we put DP or even GEMA, you think they are going to hire these party officers differently? We need to put up some, we say threshold to all these parties. But you find the selfishness in NRM. That then they say proportional representation, because there are over 200 members of parliament in parliament and others are one. You want to completely do away with other parties. Maybe one thing that we are lacking is civic education, because even then the constitution of Uganda is just in English only. We need major languages, the constitution of Uganda, to be translated into major languages so that people really know their rights. The rights are there, and people just go against rights of people simply because they don't know. Civic education has been long ago killed. We used to have even civic education in primary. If you reach P3, then you have a book called Civic. For you to know your rights, the leadership of your but this has been done away with completely. Even now, when I ask, is it Human Rights Commission? Why don't you? Yeah, it's time, but let me summarize that. Human Rights Commission should help us educate our people, civic education, which should be ongoing, and it's not just electoral commission. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I've dealt with this side. It's time to cross over to this side of the room, and I'll start with you, gentlemen.
I'm very delighted. My name is Ukumulango Livingston. weakness in internal democracy. It derived from the foundation. It derived from the foundation in when we are agitating, when the British, when Uganda were agitating for political taking over the political post in the country. There was a total demand by that time, but today is when we are talking today, all political parties, they are so weak that they cannot demand for political reform because of internal wrangle. For example, when we talk about the political wrangles, somebody came that Jim Akana is one of the, Jim Akana coup has been legitimized by the UPC. How can you say that Jim Akana coup has been legitimized by the UPC when the constitution of UPC said it is only the party president that Dr. Lara Turo is supposed to call for delegate conference and organize for delegate conference. And when Akana took over, somebody came here and said that that is the original position. And when we are talking about weakness within the political party, we are talking about the founder syndrome. When we are talking about the founder syndrome, now the party members, those who have funded the parties, now they wanted to cling for parties. They wanted to dominate. For example, Museveni doesn't want to give position to others.
Let's listen to each other. Let's have order. All of you have equal opportunities to ask questions. Order. Let's have order. As you raise your hand, Sheila will just see you and come to you, please.
I'm going to pick a youth because this country is largely okay. As the youth sort themselves out, let me get an elder.
I'm Richard Ojambo. I'm just directing this to...
Let's have order. Let's listen to our colleague in the hall, please. One person speaking at a time.
I'm very happy to associate with our political leaders, and all of this is going to them. Please, we are tired to recycle leaders. We are youth. We can run this country also. Please, if you have taken your share 10, 15 years, why can't you retire and go home and listen to the rest of us?
But if the elders are being voted democratically, what is the problem with that?
Me, I'm called Nyeko Okelo. I'm a disabled person. What I've seen in Uganda, I'm now 60 years old. What I've seen in Uganda, there is no democracy. What I've seen here, we are in a military government. Because if we are in democracy government, why do we go and beating the other parties when they are trying to organize their meeting? Which is very wrong. We should not do that one. And then here in Uganda, some people of Uganda, some part of Uganda are treated as non-Ugandan. Because I was told that in the cabinet, there are 23 members in the cabinet of Uganda. But 13 of them are Manyankole. The 10 remain for other people. Is that here a fair, equal right? Equal share? Which is very wrong. And if we come to the disabled people, we are mistreated. Now when we are trying to elect our MPs, they took us all to Kampala. When we reach there, all the 4 regions unite to elect Northern, Eastern, and so on. Why don't we elect our people here, our members here, and send there? Why do they do like that? It is a biasness. Because other members, all the members who are there, they say, if you tell your people to support me, my people also will support you. Which means those who are in the MPs, they will remain there forever. Why?
Thank you so much. Let me just move behind a bit. I would also like to tickle your mind to think about the kinds of members we have in our political parties. Are they there because of disgruntlement? Have they left the ruling party to form other parties? And does that make for an informed opinions as political parties and as leaders of political parties?
Well, I'm called Komakech Udinga Geoffrey Uginga, a member of Congress Party, Uganda People's Congress. I must say very clearly that in Uganda here, as regard democracy, we are still growing. That must be noted without any biasness. With simple example, when you look at my party as UPC party, you look at NRM, you look at DP, you look at FDC and many others, you realize that the wrangles are existing across. So we are still growing, which means we must get back and organize ourselves and ensure our country as Uganda stand on democracy. Two, when we look at financial support towards the various political parties that exist in Uganda, it is crystal clear to be noted that there is no equality or equity in sharing national cake, because the national cakes come from various areas throughout the country. So it must be politically, socially, religiously divided equally. But in a situation where you cannot understand what yardstick, what criteria was used to give NRM a larger percent, FDC and that, basing on the number of people, that is not realistic. Finally, it's very important that we must work as Ugandan to ensure the common man and ourselves take our country to another level. Because now UPC in first place in the panel is already excluded. And this organization is talking about democracy. How can you talk of democracy when UPC is not at the panel there? That is a question. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You can also ponder, was Uganda ready for multi-party politics? Because at the end of the day, this is what we are discussing. Internal democracies. Have we adopted the system as a country? Yes, sir.
Yes. Thank you, the chair and all the members. My name's Tony Opio Kangwereke. I am 64 years old. I want to take you back. In 1962, I marched at Kololo when we got our independence. I was among the primary pupils who marched there. It's 1962. President Obote was the prime minister at that time. 1966, there was this problem of KY. And then Uganda became a republic. After that, the UPC government decided that there is going to be only one party system, whereby Dr. Obote introduced common man charter. Some people will say common man shut up. And then, so, when Obote was overthrown in 1971, Amin came to power. When Amin came to power, people thought that by the overthrow of Obote, things would change. Things did not change. It became worse. And then, 79, when Amin was pushed, the UNLF government came. Then you all know what happened. There was Lule, there came Binaiza. And then 1980, there was election, whereby the parties which were there, CP, UPC, DP, and UPM of President Museveni. Museveni did not win election. He was defeated. And he went to the bush. He came back, and you have seen what kind of politics it is. After some time, President Museveni was always threatening people, whoever tries to contest with him will go 6 feet deep. Up to now, everybody is scared. Democracy cannot be practiced because of this. And also, you have seen, unless we have an independent electoral commission where there is a fair play, we will never have any democracy. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I promised to pick a youth, and I'm just going to do that. Please keep it short, your name and your question.
Thank you so much, the moderator. I'm called Simon Rubakene. I'm the National Secretary General, National Youth Coalition for NRM Mobilization. First of all, I want to express my sincere disappointment to my colleagues in the opposition side that even senior Ugandans can even stand up right now before the young ones and condone the wrong things that Amam Babas have been doing while in office. During the time of the OPM scandals, it is the same oppositions who came up and they were complaining that Amam Babas was mishandling or mismanaging the office. And we could not just sack him there and then. Of course, you have to investigate and then try and see and have reasons before you chase someone from office. After that one,
Mr. Rubangakene, sorry to interrupt you. How does the issue of that investigation relate to the internal party dynamics? We are discussing internal party dynamics. Keep to the topic, please.
The point I want to...
Keep to the topic.
Okay, thank you. Let me talk about the...
Give him the opportunity to talk. Let's tolerate his views and then you will respond.
Let me talk about the internal party democracy. We have been seeing, and we also saw it when the NRM amended its constitution in the past delegates conference. All the delegates were invited from the different districts and representatives from different areas, and they all assembled at Nambole. Is when they amended the constitution, even in the presence of Honorable Mam Babazi, to have the Secretary General of the NRM party being appointed by the president. So what my advice to everyone, and as Ugandans, senior Ugandans, that let's try and guide the nation. Let's not capitalize on a single mistake and we have all our points based on. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. A lady, please.
Thank you so much, everyone in the house and those ones watching there. I feel so sad when I hear young people like me, NRM, 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 NRM. There is democracy, there is democracy. I might say that they have their own reasons for being there. For God and my stomach. But not for God and my country. Even the honorable members in NRM, themselves, they know that there is no democracy in it. Yes, we have heard that there are conflicts in all parties, but the conflicts differ. The level of the conflicts differ. We are tackling NRM due to the fact that it is the leading party. Being the leading party, other parties should see it as an example. I wish we had a representative from police. I would ask which party do the police belong to? Protect this, arrest this. Last week, some members of FDC were shot because they were marching to the nomination ground for Kiza Besige. On Monday, the hooligans in Gulu town here, carrying empty coffins, Mama Babas, we don't want him here. They were protected. We are so attached. We are so attached. And funny enough, it happened here in northern Uganda. You hear, people from Acholi, they're so primitive, they're so primitive. We have to defend this, that we are not primitive. My name is Kembabas Irene from Gulu University.
Thank you so much, Kembabas Irene. Jump over this top building. God will send his angel to rescue you. The same scripture says, thou shalt not test God. It has been the scripture. And in politics, it's always the constitution. It's not that the national resistance movement is being highly talked about badly. But in truth, look at the DP, look at UPC, look at FDC. There is nothing much we can talk about them to criticize or to criticize. During the Guild election 2015-2016, Makerere University, the national resistance movement came out with papers that students should fill. Finalists indeed filled it. The promise in it was, when you do this, you are given the priority to getting jobs. Then what do you expect? That we should not give our votes to the elders who are going to give us jobs? Come on. Is that democracy? In a case whereby I am coerced, one. In a case whereby structurally people who are ready to do anything for as long as their stomachs and families are fed, and they will do everything the way it's wanted. Is that one democracy? You might look and see clearly that everything is working as though it is democracy. But still, it is the same scripture that says God will protect you. So, okay, thank you. Thank you. Let me move in front a bit. We're about to wind up. We're coming close to the end of this show, but...
Thank you very much. I'm Uyed Kenneth Udong. I'm from Achua constituency. Coming to the internal democracy in Uganda, to me, is limping. There's only theoretical democracy in the country. There's nothing like any practical democracy in all these political parties. Why do I say this? We have group support rather than democracy. If we talked of group support, there are only selected people who are seen as being leaders, and there are only few people who are supposed to lead this country, lead the constituencies, lead the local villages. We talked of term limits. What can we say about the LC1s? What can we say about those who are ever going to parliament term after term after term? What we are now doing is not democracy in this country, but building the empire. And what is the implication of this, of building the empires? There's going to be class in this country. What do I mean if I talk of class system? There's going to be class of leaders and those who are supposed to be led. And the results will be conflicts in the country. I'm not really motivating people to go for that, but that is the theory that I'm seeing. So with that, I request everybody in this room to really learn how to appreciate this country to be governed with really due respect for human rights, countrywide and internationally. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Again, I would like to emphasize that we would love every one of us to talk, but that is not possible. So we'll try as much as we can.
Ladies and gentlemen, I wish to present to you my nationalistic and patriotic thinking on this subject matter. In 1986, when President Museveni took power, in his inauguration speech, he said, it is not a mere change of guard, it is a fundamental change.
Can you go straight to the issue? Internal party democracy, its implications on Uganda's democracy. Please go straight to the issue.
Thank you very much, the panelists. Out of the context, Article 62 of the Constitution clearly stipulates the independency of the Electoral Commission. The independency of electoral commissions cannot work out if the chairpersons of the Electoral Commission is appointed by the President. Based on all these factors, we need to clean our own party. I want to see all political parties getting to primaries, and they must register a perfect clean sheet. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to hike the level of the debate a little bit. In the generation to come, we should have a different way of handling electoral processes. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We have less than 10 minutes to wind up. Let me just give one more person.
Thank you very
10
much.
seconds, 10 seconds.
Charles.
10 seconds.
And everybody in the house. I am called Kamakash Simon from NRM and the sort of Gulu districts. The inter-party democracy in Uganda, please, my fellow Ugandans, let's accept this. It's not there. Completely not there. When you see from UPC how my brother was pushed up the toilet, is that democracy? You come to DP, you come to FDC, the same thing. Amambabozi. NRM Commission says it's the 6 members to approve for anybody to become a sole candidate. I mean, to become a party president. But now,
Simon, the same issue has been raised. Can you tackle something else? That has been raised numerously. We want to wind up, please.
Now, about the funding of the parties.
In 10 seconds.
Funding the parties in Uganda, I think it is very correct how they handle it now by giving the money according to the number of members in the parliaments. That one is very correct. But the democracy in the party system in Uganda is not there. It's all affected. And in Uganda, where people who are personalizing parties become their own parties. That's the problem. And you have crooks and ulwas who can gang themselves and they go and they
Thank you very much. Let me come back to the panelists very quickly here. I'm going to give each panelist 1 minute to respond to the issues that have emerged. But let me start very quickly with Odong Geoffrey. Odong Geoffrey, there is a research that has been done, I think by the International Republican Institute on the issues of multipartyism. And the research indicates that in 2011, that's the survey, that only 33% consider their leaders based on parties, and that 65% all vote for their leaders on individual merit. Based on that, I just want your comment. With the emerging issues that there is no democracy in the parties, is it that we still have that, backdrop of individual merit? Are we playing a hardball? Are we discussing something like Honorable here said, that we first need to be civically educated on, or what is it? Are we at a point where we have gone the wrong way maybe to choose multi-party? What is your view as a human rights activist?
When we look back how multi-party democracy were reintroduced in Uganda, first of all we need to go back to 2000 when we had
very quickly in 1 minute.
That was held on the 29th of June. The issue was, which kind of political system do we want? That was the question. Now, majority, 90% of the people say we need the movement system. But the reverse came in 2005 when people were again asked, went through a referendum, and the question was, which kind of political system do we need? Now, 90% again said we need multi-party system of governance, and that was the result. Now, looking at the trends of election in Uganda, the current parliament have got 43 members who could call opposition, but out of that, 34 came as independents, and that clearly shows that the concept of multi-party politics in Uganda is not well understood and embraced by the members of the various political parties.
So you would recommend civic education done more?
The level at which civic education is being done is still low. I know the problem, Madam Members of Parliament has already moved up. Parliament is supposed to appropriate funding to Uganda Human Rights Commission to conduct extensive civic education. But when you look, the same parliament give very small amount of money to Uganda Human Rights Commission, and therefore they cannot do much.
No, the electoral commission does civic education based on elections, but of course the main civic education is supposed to be done by the Human Rights Commission. That's according to the law.
I think what people need to understand very clearly, electoral commission does what we call voters education, not civic education. And it is specifically to keep awareness on electoral process and the roadmap for political process.
Irene, a lot of issues have come out from the audience. But one of those issues that was not well brought out was the issue of membership. Membership belonging to a party. Right now, of course, the NRM is the leading party in the country, your party. What's your view as you wind up in order to make sure that to deepen democracy within the parties, to deepen democracy within the country, across all these parties, that what is the best formula you would suggest in terms of membership belonging to these parties?
To begin with, to be a member of a political party is voluntary. Is free entry, free exit. And NRM welcome whoever wants to become an NRM. At the moment, there is registration going on for NRM parties. And for this to strengthen the internal democracy, I think we need to know if you're a member, are you a loyalty or you're an activist just of a party? So NRM
suggest a quick solution,
is
10 seconds. We are running out of time.
NRM is a party which can accept member, and you're free to join, you're free to exit. We welcome everybody to join NRM so that the party can grow.
Thank you so much,
And
Irene.
To wind up, I call upon Ugandans that soon we are going for election. The youth have always been used. This time, smear your back with liquid soap. Let them slide and land down. And let's accept, embrace the result of elections so that we continue with our peace and prosperity. Thank you so much.
Chairman, Mr. Mapinduzi, I want you to give us your view on the issue of the code of conduct for political parties arising out of the FDC's experience. And we know that this discipline, the members here are saying that every party, let's not pretend, every party has problems, internal weaknesses, including issues of discipline. How would we better do it?
Thank you very much, Charles.
In 1 minute, sir.
In 1 minute. At the beginning, I say talking about internal democracy would not leave out the issue of internal management, functionalities of parties and internal systems. And to be specific, there are key areas that every political party should give attention to. One, how the candidates are selected, how leaders get, how you come to a leadership, position, how decisions are made, policy making processes, what is the level of participation, the level of involvement, the level of ownership. Today, people are talking about the resolution, the sole candidature. Was that procedural enough? Was the decision taken based on the provision of the party's constitution, or it was a retreat and some people got excited and came up with a decision and people are being forced to do it? It's important to look at, and also the aspect of giving a lot of attention to gender, political party funding, looking at minority groups. We should be able to, as political parties, we should be able to follow clear rules so that every citizen is free to participate. And I think every political party has a responsibility. The other thing we have to do, as I conclude, in trying to promote internal democracy, we need to do two things. One is Ugandans need to, without resting, continue talking about the affairs of this country, about democracy, because it's our country. And we don't need to relax. We need to continue. The second thing is to take tough regulatory measures. We should have clear regulations. We have a constitution, but how much does this constitution protect, multi-party dispensation?
Thank you so much, Chairman. You have made your point. You could not make it any better. Let me lastly come to Okidi. The issue of, parties cooperating with government. It has also come up in a similar research on the operations of multi-party system in Uganda. And 56% of Ugandans are saying that they suggest that all political parties should cooperate with government in order to develop the country, not these things of division. Very quickly, what is your view on that as a DP person?
Yeah, I think it is very important.
but it comes back to the question of inclusion. If you have a president who says the NRM party in every function, the NRM party, and yet other presidents are saying the people of the United States of America. So you see that there is an element of exclusion. So government should work with all political parties. Even the iPod that the Honorable was talking about, there are a lot of issues in iPod. You find that opposition moots ideas that government sometimes is lukewarm on acting on. And then, and I think it is very important also that we need to soul search on our democracy. Because democracy is not something you can get in piecemeal. Because if you had the view here, people are talking as though democracy is a pancake where you can tear half of it and eat. Democracy is a total thing. That if you do not have democracy, then the antithesis of democracy is dictatorship. So I think we also need to soul search, even donors, what kind of democracy are they supporting in Uganda? Because there are concepts today such as growing democracies, emerging democracies, all these kind of things. So the question is, democracy is democracy. There is nothing as emerging.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Okidi. Thank you, Ojara. Thank you, Ayo Irene. Thank you so much, Odong Geoffrey, my panelists. Thanks so much to you, the beautiful, wonderful audience, for your time. You took off your very busy afternoon on a weekend. We want to thank so much the partners who have made this possible, the Democratic Governance Facility, DGF, the International Republican Institute. You said they are the guys who have made this possible. This event has been made possible by also the Uganda Youth Network, UYONET. We want to thank the Great Lakes Institute for Strategic Studies, GLIS, in Kampala. We thank you so much for bringing this debate and making it possible so that it comes here. The topic was the internal democratic practices within Uganda's political parties and their implications to the country's pursuit for democratic governance. The next debate for the Situation Room is going to be on the 11th of this month in Kampala at Serena Hotel, and it will be at Katonga Hall, and it will be on the budget priorities and fiscal policy in Uganda. Thank you so much to all out there watching, viewing us from all over Uganda. Thank you so much. May God bless this country.
NTV, turning on your world.